Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for a program preview for the Master of Science in Innovation and Venture Development. My name is Jackie, and I am the graduate coordinator for the MSIVD program. If this is your first time attending one of these sessions, the MSIVD is a brand new master's program that's starting this fall 2020 at ASU through a partnership between the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, the W.P. Carey School of Business, and the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts. I am going to start out today by going over a quick agenda of what we will be covering. In just a few moments, I will introduce you to Cheryl Heller, our program director. She's going to introduce you to our speaker today, Jeff, who will be talking with you about his experience with sports, technology, and venture development. I'll have a few minutes toward the end to talk with you about the MSIVD program's admission requirements and what you can expect from the application process. I'll also give you some information about the program tuition and what you can expect for the program cost. And then we do expect to have a few minutes toward the end for a Q&A. So if at any point throughout the presentation you have any questions for myself or Cheryl or Jeff about any of the topics that we're covering, please do leave those in the Q&A section of the Zoom webinar, and we will get to all of those questions at the end. So right now I am going to turn it over to Cheryl Heller. She is our program director for MSIVD.
Thanks, Jackie, and welcome everybody. We are delighted to have Jeff Kunowski here with us. He's the Associate Director of Innovation Programs at the Global Sport Institute at ASU. He's a graduate of ASU, graduated in 2011 with an integrative studies degree. And he started his first business as a student a year before he graduated and received an Edson grant to support it. The company he founded is called Illuminate Outdoor Media. It's an innovative signage company. And his first client was the Phoenix Suns. And since then, he's worked in sports technology with a number of organizations ever since. He was named one of Arizona Central's top 35 entrepreneurs under 35 in 2012. He won Small Business Association's Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2014. And he returned to ASU to mentor student entrepreneurs in 2017 and help them with sports-specific entrepreneurial programs. He is also on the W.P. Carey Sports Business Advisory Board. On a personal note, Jeff's been to the Kentucky Derby twice, and he's been to the last 3 Super Bowls. And I think he needs to be grilled carefully about this. He named his favorite athlete of all time as Tom Brady. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. As Cheryl mentioned, I'm the Associate Director of Innovation Programs at the Global Sport Institute. And I'm also cross-appointed with the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Group at ASU. I'm certainly honored to be an advisor to this program. It's incredibly innovative and forward-thinking, and many of the studio courses that are offered within the program are very similar to the areas that we touch on through our programs at the Global Sport Institute, just much more thorough and extensive. But the idea is the same. In my role at the Global Sport Institute, you really look to provide knowledge and resources to startups and individuals that empower them to be entrepreneurial. So I'm fortunate to be able to do that on a daily basis, and grateful to be an advisor to this program to hopefully extend that into the offerings. During my time today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my entrepreneurial journey and how I ended up in this role at ASU. And it really started with an idea that I had. If you wouldn't mind skipping to the next slide. One more. One more slide, please. Are you able to skip the slide? Thank you. So the picture you see here is actually going back one there to the sign spinner is actually where my idea for my company started. I was driving down the road one day and saw these guys out there spinning signs, and it was getting kind of late and getting relatively dark, and you couldn't really see what they were advertising. And so I had the idea to do some research and see if there was a way to extend the time and the life of these individuals and other types of signage that are used in a portable format. And so I went home and started tinkering around with some different things that I had laying around, and did some research on Google, just seeing if there was anything out there like this. And if you wouldn't mind skipping to the next slide. The first prototype looked something like a first grade science experiment here. It was based off of this electroluminescent cable lighting, and the whole idea was to see if you could use this type of material to not only illuminate an image or lettering, but also be able to customize it. And so the MC there was my first attempt at creating like a McDonald's type sign, and then the light bulb was just another experiment there. So if you don't mind skipping one more. It was around this time that I had heard that ASU had a business plan competition and a support program for entrepreneurs through their Edson Student Initiative. And so I took my idea, I put together a business plan, and decided that I should kind of fine tune my prototype a little bit. And so created this display here, which as you can see within the lettering, there's actually cable light embedded within that. So when you turn the light on, it illuminates the logo and the messaging. And so with this prototype, I was fortunate enough to receive $10,000 in the form of a grant through the Edson Program. And that really gave me the initial validation to kick this idea off and take it to the next level. Next slide, please. So I went through a wide variety of designs and trying to figure out what the best product was and what would be commercially viable. And I conducted a lot of experiments, got a lot of feedback from folks in my network. And so, finally landed on a product that I felt worked well. And, it took several iterations, and I was able to utilize some of the funding that I received from Edson to really build these out. And with the final product, I was able to source a manufacturer in China that was able to produce these and in relatively small quantities, and was able to get some samples produced. Next slide, please. And it was around this same time that I was I was doing an internship with the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury, and I was going into my exit interview and was asked if there was anything that I would do differently within the organization, or if I had any innovative ideas. And it just so happened that I had this product and a pitch deck on me that showcased some of the innovations that I had put together with these types of signs. And so I presented that during that interview, and they were very interested. And about a week later, this Phoenix Suns placed an order for 10 of the portable signs that you see here. So this sign within the image, you can see the Illuminate sign that's portably lit and rechargeable versus kind of your standard sandwich sign. And so we took this idea, and one more slide, please. And leveraged the success that we had with the Phoenix Suns, and really built out a variety of other types of signage platforms. So you can see here a couple different portable type signs. So these are rechargeable LED backlit signs. We were able to ink a deal with MGM Resorts International to provide these for a wide variety of their venues and facilities. And from there, if you don't mind skipping one more, we were able to basically expand pretty aggressively into a lot of other sports and entertainment accounts, playing off of the success and really building off of the notoriety of some of the brands that we had brought on board. So one more slide, please. So as we were doing this, I met an individual, the former president of the Phoenix Coyotes. He had called me up one day out of the blue and had heard about my venture through a mutual contact. And he and I got together and sat down and talked through the Illuminate business model and the products. And he was very interested in becoming an investor and a partner. And so we were able to structure a deal where he joined the company. And around that same time, he was actually consulting with Panasonic for large-scale technology implementations, so scoreboards, venue Wi-Fi, directional signage, things like that. And we decided that since we're talking to sports venues about signage in general, why not lump these ideas under one banner, under one umbrella? And we formed MK Solutions Group, which was a technology consulting firm, and allowed us to go into an organization and be able to show a wide variety of different topics and products, solving different needs that a venue may have. And next slide, please. And after about a year of working under the MK banner, we were able to strike a large deal with the Philadelphia Eagles through our consulting firms. This was a $17 million technology deal that was brought to the table from our relationships and our efforts, and was focused in around the Panasonic technology. So you see in this image here, the Panasonic logo, the American Airlines logo, that's all one large digital video board within Lincoln Financial Field there in Philadelphia. And so, with this, Panasonic really took notice of our skill sets, of some of the products we were offering, and just our organization in general. And we were fortunate enough to strike up some larger conversations with the executives at Panasonic and come to an acqui-hire deal where essentially they folded our offerings and the different signage products and my business partner and I into their organization. And from that point on, started working with Panasonic on a wide variety of technology projects throughout the country. Next slide, please. These are just a few examples of some of the projects that we worked on. So Cheryl mentioned the Kentucky Derby. You see that on the far left there. That's the world's largest 4K video board outdoors at Churchill Downs in Louisville. Next to that is Golden One Center, the home of the Sacramento Kings, first NBA 4K center hung scoreboard. And we did a large deal with the Indy 500 and put video boards all throughout their facility and changed the experience for fans there as well. And worked closely with the Chicago Bulls to do a wide variety of technology integrations at their facility. And so throughout this process, I really got a unique perspective on sports business. I came into the market as an entrepreneur, and ended up working for one of the largest companies in the world in the sports technology space, and have stayed in that space, as a consultant since. But really, in 2017, I came back to some of the individuals that I had built relationships over the years at ASU, Brent Siebold being one of them, and talked about the current landscape, seeing if I could potentially mentor other startups. And that's really how my involvement in my role, that I currently have at ASU started, was basically mentoring other startups, helping them get their feet under them with different types of products. And over time, we were able to develop a sport-focused program that now lives under the Global Sport Institute and the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Group that basically provides mentorship resources, grant funding, and a wide variety of advisor connections and just internal workshops and different types of resources on an annual basis. Next slide, please. And I wanted to just highlight a few takeaways from my experience as an entrepreneur. And I think a lot of these go hand in hand with the offerings that the MSIVD program has. The biggest thing in my mind in terms of getting started is having the idea is easy, but the execution of the idea is the difficult part. We all have had those moments where it's, why didn't I think of that? And you know, the fact is that somebody did think of it, and probably a lot of people thought of that one idea, but there was somebody that took the steps to bring it to fruition. And yeah, I think one of the you know, the pillars of the MSIVD program is helping facilitate ideas and building out ideas, and giving you the foundation and the support to take that from ideation to fruition. You know, the other thing that I've learned really early on was the importance of surrounding yourself with quality people. You know, I had to seek out quite a few advisors and mentors early on, and built a lot of my success around my network. With this program, a lot of that work has already been done for you. You have access to a lot of incredible advisors and professors, and subject matter experts, which is incredibly helpful as you're going through your journey in establishing a business and taking it to fruition. The third thing is the experimenting, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I had to go through quite a few different variations of my product before I found one that is actually commercially viable. And the only way I really landed on that was by actually doing and creating, and then talking to people and figuring out, is this something that somebody would actually use? Is there a customer base for this? Again, one of the main pillars within this program that you know, I think just conducting these experiments often and speaking with real time or real life individuals in various markets, incredibly important. And then the last two really kind of go hand in hand, establishing milestones and creating accountability measures. You know, these are things that with the MSIVD program they're really built into the curriculum. For me, it was, yeah, I wish I had more of this as an entrepreneur, to be able to set milestones and kind of base it off of a program. You know, for me, it was more so about just trying to keep the internal fire going, and finding ways to set goals and measurable goals, and creating my own accountability. But you know, with this program, it truly is a unique offering, and really hits all of these points effectively. So I'm excited again to be a part of it, and you know, really looking forward to getting engaged and hopefully working with some of you as you apply to the program.
Thank you, Jeff. I apologize. It seemed like we were having a bit of an issue there with some delay on the slides. Just one of the joys, I guess, of everybody doing things remotely right now. We run into some technological issues, but we're really grateful that you could be here today to share your experiences with us. And we're really excited to have you bring all of your background and knowledge to our students in the MSIVD program this fall. So thank you. As I mentioned earlier, everyone, if you have any questions for Jeff about anything that he talked about just now, please leave your questions in the Q&A section, and we should be able to get to those in just a few minutes. But for now, I want to just turn quickly to the application requirements for the MSIVD program. If you are thinking about starting your application, or if you're currently working on your application, so you'll need to provide a copy of your undergraduate transcripts. You can submit an unofficial copy of your undergraduate transcripts through the online application. So that is the quickest and easiest way to take care of that piece. If you are an international student and you are looking to satisfy ASU's English proficiency requirement, one option that I would encourage you to look at would be the Duolingo English test. ASU is currently accepting that to meet English proficiency, and they've just extended the period of time when they will be accepting that particular test. So if you are affected by testing center closures due to COVID-19, that is a great option to look at to meet that requirement. And then for the MSIVD program specifically, the other materials that you would need to provide would be an up-to-date copy of your resume and a letter of intent, which should be no more than 3 pages or so double-spaced. And we are really just looking in that for you to introduce yourself to the faculty, to talk about what brought you to the MSIVD program, share with us a bit about your interests and what you would hope to accomplish through this program. So we do have another deadline coming up for applications on June 30th. We do encourage you to apply by that date if you would like to be considered for fall. The link at the bottom of this screen here is to our MSIVD website, where you can then find a link to start the application if you have not done so already. And then I also just wanted to quickly touch on the program cost for MSIVD. So the graphic on this screen will give you a breakdown of the estimated cost for the program based on your residency classification, whether you're an Arizona resident, a non-resident, or an international student. It is a 1-year, 30 credit hour program. So you would be taking courses in the fall, spring, and summer semesters for the 2020 through 2021 academic year. And you can see here that the cost for the ASU tuition and fees will be based upon your credit hours and the current ASU tuition rates. And then for all students in the MSIVD program, there is a flat fee for the specifically program tuition of $4,000 each semester. So we do have a few minutes to answer any questions that you have. I think I see a couple, but we've gotten already, so I'll go ahead and take a look at those, but please feel free to keep sending in your questions if you have them. So Jeff, I see we have a couple of questions for you already. The first one, looking back at that pivot you made with the Suns opportunity, was that the right place at the right time, or do you think that opportunity was due elsewhere?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that, you know, there's always an element of right place at the right time when you're looking at things in hindsight. Yeah, I think that the opportunity came about, and really the timing of the opportunity came about, you know, really at the right place at the right time because of the development of my products and how it all fit with the wrapping up of my internship. But there were a lot of steps that I had to take to get to that point. And so, you know, I think that the proactive element of reaching out and applying to the internship, and then, you know, going down the path of developing the product aggressively and knowing that there was an opportunity there to potentially work with the Suns as a potential client. You know, those were all somewhat calculated, and some of them just kind of happened as they progressed. But yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an element of right place at the right time, but there's a lot of work that goes on in the background to make sure that situation even takes place.
Thank you. And another question for you, Jeff. Do you think tech or social innovators share a similar mindset to sport innovators? How are they similar or different?
Yeah, so I think that there are definitely similarities. You know, when you look at sport innovators versus just, you know, generally broader innovators in general, you know, I think they're oftentimes trying to tackle the same issues. You know, when I looked at solving a problem, you know, I wasn't specifically looking at sport as a particular focus market originally, but it happened that there was a need in that space. And so, you know, my signage products could have been applied to a wide variety of industries. But, you know, I basically found a need within a market that I was comfortable in, that I was established in, and quite frankly, I was excited about. And so, you know, I think when you look at, you know, just a broader grouping of tech or social innovators, you know, I think appealing to a market that is of interest to you is an important element. I don't think that there's really any difference in terms of the type of individual. I think it's more so just an area of focus.
Thank you. I see more of a curriculum-based question now. We have someone asking, I noticed there were some elective credits built into the program. Does that mean there is a possibility of condensing the program into 2 semesters and avoiding the summer? Based on the way that the program is set up right now, Unfortunately, no, we do not have the option to condense it into just the 2 semesters. The core courses that you take in this program are 2 lecture-style leadership courses. One of those you would take in the fall and 1 in the spring. And then there are 5 studio courses that you take that take you through each step of the venture development process. So you take 2 of those in the fall, 2 in the spring, and then you finish the program in the summer with your final studio. There are 2 credits or 6 credits or 2 courses of electives that you will be taking through the program in addition to those core courses. Typically, students will be taking 1 elective in the fall and 1 elective in the spring, alongside the leadership course and the studios. But because the studios are meant to be taken in a specific order and with the team that you will be working on, we really do want everybody to complete the program as a cohort and at the same pace.
Jeff, I'd love you to talk about, now that you're an advisor to the program, of course, you can help students with this, but can you talk about any advice you'd give potential students to help them take advantage of the larger ecosystem of entrepreneurship at ASU?
Yeah, absolutely. I think regardless of where you're at in your academic career, there's a wide variety of resources within ASU to help individuals that are interested in entrepreneurship. If you're an undergrad student and looking to just start to dabble in this or learn more about entrepreneurship, through the Entrepreneurship and Innovation group at ASU, there's a wide variety of workshops, online modules, all virtual right now, but as things start to return to normal, there'll be in-person sessions, and a lot of information out there that can help put you in the right direction. For those that are interested in applying to this program, I think that there's a lot of existing supplemental resources that ASU has. Our programs through the Global Sport Institute are a good example of that. Just being able to provide tangible support in terms of grant funding and customer introductions and different resources that can help you really move the needle forward with your business. Just like we do that for sport-specific ventures, there's a broad offering of other funding tracks and focus areas that you can apply to if you have an idea that maybe falls into a different market.
Thank you. We have just a couple of minutes left today. So if you do have any other questions, please feel free to leave them and we can try to get to those in the time that we have left. I do want to just really quickly give everybody my contact information here. If you have any more questions about the program, or if you would like to be connected to somebody to talk more in depth one-on-one about the program, I'd be happy to set that up for you. And I wanted to remind everybody as well that the deadline to apply is coming up on June 30th. So I do recommend that you get your applications in by that date if you would like to be considered. I do see that we have one other question that just came in. Let me take a look at this one really quickly. So someone is saying, since this is a STEM certified program, can the STEM aspect of the program be more touched on and how it's incorporated into the classes? Is that something that you feel like you could speak to a little bit, Cheryl? In terms of what
I can, and I'm happy to. Our STEM certification has to do with solving issues from multidisciplinary points of view at a systems level. And so the transdisciplinary nature of the program to begin with, integrating engineering, business, and design, is part of it. But we've also built into the program speakers and lecturers from other sciences. We have people who are specifically systems analysts. So It's the nature of the program itself, and also the diversity of expert that will not only show up in class, but that will be available to do lectures and modules that you can access anytime.
Great, thank you so much. So it does look like we are out of time now. I just wanted to quickly again thank you, Cheryl, for being here, and thank you so much to Jeff for sharing your experiences with us. As I said, we're really excited and grateful to have you as part of this program. And thank you to everybody who attended today. As I said, please reach out if you have any questions or if you would like to speak with someone more about the program. I hope everybody has a great day, and I hope to see you all soon.
I just want to add my thanks to Jeff and to Jackie and everyone who came. Jeff, we're thrilled to have you as an advisor to the program.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.